Welcome back to the second part of the Admin's Developments podcast for the third session of our weekly Thursday game. It's the 9th campaign we play every week on Thursday on Mediocre Strategists. And we'll pick up where we left off with the last part, and that is Prussia inside the HRE and also probably the strongest nation, or on track to being the strongest nation in the region, just due to the national ideas Prussia comes with. Also, all ideas are finished, so you can expect a very competent military here. Yeah, of course, militarization isn't high, and it's ticking down quite fast for its size, and that will only get worse with expansion. But if a war really happens, you can crank up this militarization, get even crazier troops. So a lot of potential, of course, for Prussia. As we've seen, ideas are finished, which puts them in a good position. Buildings are finished. Same to say about that. Not all the manpower buildings are built right now, but he's working on them right now, from what I can tell. His income isn't bad. We can see where it comes from here. Okay, he's getting subsidies from Lübeck. That's to be expected, having Lübeck as a friend here. Other than that, of course, trade is a bit of a problem for him. He does have control over the Baltic node, like 50% of that is in his hands. But of course, Sweden also is relevant in this region. He just has the advantage of having the estuaries. So if we see trade centers being upgraded to level 3 at some point, you might see more trade shifting away from Prussia in this region, because Sweden has 3 trade centers, while Prussia only has 2. Yeah, but I think it comes up to around the same, I guess. I mean, 2 estuaries here. I have 1 estuary. I think it's roughly similar for the moment between Sweden and Brandenburg, what they could do in control, just that Sweden isn't having his main node in Baltic Sea. Well, I should talk about it in the first person. My main node isn't the Baltic Sea, but it's Lübeck, which might not be a good idea. That's something you'd have to look into to have a better understanding of this. But from what I can tell, Prussia's now expanding into Austria. I hope he maintains these nice borders, like it's close to 1914 Prussian borders here. I hope we don't see some awful blobs in this region, like that Poland could be worrying about that, especially with QQ now snaking into here. We could see some horrible borders in this region. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, but other than that, I think Prussia is just doing absolutely fine. Manpower is good. He has expansion routes, obviously, in the east. He has good friends, if you look at the alliance map mode for him. Yeah, like Westphalia, Sweden and Russia, that's nothing anyone will overcome, especially not with Prussia in its center. We'll see what the new 1450 alliance rules will do to him. I haven't looked into that too much, but I'm pretty sure he'll have to drop one of his allies. Will be interesting to see which one it will be. Yeah, but Prussia really has nothing to worry about here. He has all the expansion room he needs. So I think we can just switch over to Lübeck for a second and have a look at this nation. Interestingly, he is losing money. I'd expect that from subsidies. Yeah, you see him subsidizing a lot. I think what drags him into the negative numbers here is the big subsidy he's giving to Hungary at the moment, which is probably to support the war he has been having. Other than that, he gives equal amounts to his 3 neighbors, which, I mean, it's just a tactic for keeping you safe and also getting you friends, basically. Otherwise, you'd be in a tough spot here, especially with Sweden probably liking control over Lübeck himself. I guess that's best you can do is subbing everyone around you to just be safe in this region. And it works out for him, like he's developing quite tall here. 360 development is what he's at now. And there's a lot of highly developed provinces here. Like even Little Rügen is now high development. Yeah, I mean, he's getting some control over the English Channel now, and with his higher trade efficiency, this might be a prospect for the future, looking at maybe conquering the Netherlands or something, which could also be a decent formable if he wanted to form something. Other than that, it's just a bit bare in this region, but maybe he wants to form Netherlands. I mean, I'd get behind that. That would be very interesting Netherlands to have around. Also, actually, isn't that a Hansa mission? What do you need to do for that? Unite the League. Is a great power? It would be hard to do, I guess. Oh yeah, there's a lot of things to do. I mean, building the heavy ships is not a problem. And he needs, yeah, just build heavy ships. That's very doable for him. I mean, this is maybe an factor that you want to delay until later. After that, you can just take this one. Novgorod Kontor, well, I guess you could rent him Gotland, but then he needs what again? He needs to own Novgorod. That seems a bit far off. Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible. It would be cool to see him actually be the Hansa instead of Lübeck, but yeah, it's not exactly easy to do. So I'm not sure if we're going to see this happening. Okay, let's just, or actually, let's have a look at ideas. I think we don't need to look at buildings for a nation with this many economic ideas. And also, yeah, it's just built for trade, as you can see. Plutocratic economic trade, it's just very high trade efficiency. And something I can announce for Sweden is that we will be doing trade deals next session, because efficiency is getting into a region where Lübeck is just way better at managing the trade than Sweden could ever be. I mean, I do know the tag of Sweden, but I do also want to do some commands here real quick. Get rid of Terra Incognita. And let's get over to Sweden. So Sweden isn't as strong as Prussia was a second ago. I mean, it has 60k troops, which isn't too shabby. Also could go up to 80, I guess, in case of war. Being tapped at manpower and out of expansion regions, that's something I could maybe do just to drill a bit more effectively. But right now I think I was saving money to build up my economy somewhat. Yeah, you see I still have buildings left to build. I need to do that, which is why I'm just saving up the money a bit here. Although income is quite good, I just need to spend a bit more on advisors in the future. I think I maybe should already do that to just push through these ideas a bit faster. But I'm getting through my ideas here. I think I'll be able to finish them quite comfortably in the, I'd say, first third of the next session. And I should be good to go. I mean, Swedish ideas obviously are very good. The national manpower modifiers, big goods produced, will be big. I think that also helps with Dollarskogen, obviously, which 6 income is nothing to look down upon. Yeah, and then I can just go back to playing tall, I think. Just lacking a bit behind in monarch points is why my Sweden is lagging a bit behind. Like, I need to get this good king on the throne. It's 2 years until I get the 345, and then I can invest that into... Actually, this one is probably... Yeah, the queen consort is actually better, so I shouldn't be so keen on getting rid of her. But the king before, the queen consort wasn't as great. Yeah, but after that's done... Actually, yeah, I saved this 10% manpower recovery speed, because Swedish New World isn't something I can actually take. How many do you need? I mean, I have 1. I guess I could be able to do that. Yeah, but then missions for Sweden aren't that great. It's just all missions. I mean, I have a mission to conquer this, but that doesn't seem likely with Russia being around. And this seems very unlikely. So, yeah, missions is probably the extent of what I will do. But, yes, army reform fired, so Swedish military is looking quite good. Of course, lacking the finished quality and economic here, because that would be 10 more discipline in the bank, putting me at 125. Very decent, especially considering the 20% infantry combat ability that Sweden obviously gets. Should put me in a quite favorable spot. Diplomacy-wise, it's a bit locked in. I need to see what to do about that. Like, I don't have any expansion routes currently, but yeah, well, go figure. Right now I allied Hungary, so I guess I'm getting involved down there and trying to save Hungary from what's happening in this region. Yeah, so most of the things I'm doing are actually in foreign regions. That's also why forts are deactivated here. I just don't really want to spend money on them. Of course, that's drowning my army tradition a bit. I could consider actually reactivating the forts to keep that back up with the money I'm making. Yeah, but other than that, no big considerations to be made about Sweden. I just need to figure out if I want to expand anywhere else. Oh, also maybe something to point out is that I do own the Livonian Order, and actually something I wanted to check out. Can the Livonian Order form Kurland while being a subject? Yeah, you can. So I think it's likely we're going to see a Kurland forming here, which is kind of cool, actually. Could be doing it right now. I mean, I'd prefer to have Courland as a subject, obviously. It has very good ideas. Or very decent ideas, let's say. So that would be a fun thing to happen, having a Courland here. Okay, then let's go over to Russia. Well, actually, we should probably stick to the going west thing and go to Hungary first. Also, I talked about protecting Hungary a while ago. Hungary, obviously, very good nation in the early game because of the Black Army, but couldn't really play that out too much because of the situation he had with Austria, with being Austria's subject. But now I think Hungary has all chances to recover here. He has found new friends. I think I was the first one to approach him while he was fighting Qara Qoyunlu. I was sadly too late to enforce peace with our rule set. But yeah, I think this is something that Hungary can recover. It's not too defended, I'd say. I mean, to be fair, he did lose his protective forts, but with sufficient power you can overcome this, especially because these are level 1 forts at the moment. So whenever the truce is up, which is in just 14 years, you can attack here again. And I mean, if Qara Qoyunlu doesn't notice instantly that you're coming, you might have a shot of actually just having those level 1 forts. I think actually, do we even have the battle forts yet? No, we don't. Not quite sure when they come. I think it should be soonish. But like having the amount of cannons that we do, this shouldn't be a problem. You probably can just rush down Kiralifold. Qara Qoyunlu is quite far away, so if he doesn't plan to attack you on the first day the truce is up, this is a long walk, and this is just a level 1 fort. So if Hungary really wants to take Kiralifold, he can, and that's very good for him then. So well, I see chances for Hungary recovering here, definitely. Hungary also has, actually let's look at the debt for Qara, because I know Hungary, yeah, so Qara still has debt, while Hungary doesn't. He went bankrupt. He's probably still bankrupt, though. Yeah, he's still bankrupt until 3 years. So no expansion for now, I guess. So I mean, he could get help from his allies and then maybe take land in Poland. That's something he should consider. Yeah, Crown land is a bit low. He should be getting up his Crown land now to get his absolutism up, once that's a thing. But I mean, income is very good actually for Hungary. I mean, these gold mines definitely help. Here's Kosovo and the one in Slovakia. So, I mean, that just sets you up for a good income without having to do much else. But all in all, I would say Hungary is a well-managed country, and I can see him doing very well against QQ in the coming war. He was just all on his own in the first war. That changes. I mean, of course, QQ could be bringing allies into this, but even then, like, this is far away, so long retreat ways, well, this is mostly consecrated. I mean, just Hungary's allies are good nations. Tuscany, Sweden, very good armies, and I mean, Bavaria is a bit of a not so clear one, but even Bavaria, he's so close to Hungary, he can just project his power so well. And you'll see with the new alliance rules that I think Hungary will be able to maintain most of his alliances, if I'm not mistaken. So, very good chances I see for Hungary here. Okay, let's go over to Russia now. That's what I wanted to do right after Sweden. We do it now. Last session he was looking very, very rough, and I mean, it's still kind of the case. His ideas aren't pushed too far. I mean, he's Russia now, which is obviously a big advantage to have. Yeah, his economy isn't looking terribly great, but that's something you would expect as a Russia. Patriarchal authority, on the other hand, is okay. You can get to right. Yeah, he's setting on deving. That's interesting. I wouldn't say he has the points currently to dev. Actually, does it do anything else? Colonists. That's weird. Oh well, that's a good trade note to get. 2 times copper. Well, I'm a bit confused as to what he's doing with the development guy. I wouldn't really think, like, he has 2 idea groups to push through. I mean, guess for Diplo, but he has tech to take. I don't know, honestly. Maybe if he wants to dev, maybe it's the right thing to do, and I don't know it, but it seems a bit weird to me while having idea groups that you want to push through. Yeah, he also probably wants a bit more crown land soon. And there's a Russian ability to choose from? No. Oh, the native policy. Yeah, because there's the colonist right now. I don't really think he needs this colonist, but what do I know? He can't colonize anything. Yeah, well, I don't understand it. I mean, his expansion routes are still open in some places. Kazan is still something you could be taking. I just don't know. Well, this is Samarkand. Maybe it's a split like Astrakhan goes to Russia, Samarkand goes to Timurids. That would be something you'd usually see. I also don't know what his relations with Manchu are like. They are bordering again, so I guess you could be seeing a war between Manchu and Russia, which would very much distract Russia from anything that's happening in the West. So yeah, I mean, expansion routes are still there. He's annexing Pskov at the moment. Would finally fix some of his border goal, but he is still has all these little vassals around. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't say it's looking great for Russia, but he's recovering swiftly. Like if you compare it with last session, it was looking way worse. And he still has very strong allies, like Qara Qoyunlu and Timurids. Although I think Timurids is losing a war to the Indians right now. So I guess... actually, hard to tell who's losing and winning here. Half of Punjab is sieged down, but also half of Timurids is sieged down. I mean, Timurids can be stepped out, though. Yeah, I can't quite tell. I don't know who's winning and losing here. We can check that out once India happens. But all in all, I think Russia is just doing okay-ish. He might be just outscaled by other nations, though. Like, not a lot of buildings and not really any idea for getting trade, because you don't control Samarkand, so you're not getting the trade from the east flowing into your lands here. So let's go over to Qara and see how they are doing. We looked at it from Hungary's perspective for a while, and we saw that Qara Qoyunlu was having a few problems with loans. It's a total of 11 loans, around 14, like let's say it's 500 per loan. So I mean, it's a considerable amount of debt. Let's say it's around, maybe, let's say it's 5,000 or something, 5,000 ducats in debt. How many can he take? He can take 59 loans, so he's nowhere near to being bankrupt, but this interest definitely isn't helping with his economy. It's halving what he could have in balance. And yeah, I mean, it's something you don't really want as a Qara Qoyunlu, although this is a very well-built Qara Qoyunlu, so I don't see many problems here. That kind of limits his possibilities against something like Mamluks. Also, I find this play a bit weird that he did against Wallachia and Bulgaria. I don't know what he's going at with it. Also, Bulgaria is kind of against Kiki, really, isn't it? Against Mamluks, because it has cores on Mamluks. So is this some kind of aggression we're seeing here, or what's the deal with it? I can't really tell. I think it's just a bit weird that we haven't seen Mamluks and Kiki fight in this situation. Although, I mean, Mamluks doesn't seem to have many friends, but then again, I don't really know. Kiki could be converting stuff. I don't know if he wants to. I mean, maybe he should. I don't really see a reason not to convert some of these things. They don't cost too much. Yeah, idea-wise, let's look at what he did with ideas. Okay, so he's about to finish quality now. Very standard stuff here. What he really wants to do, of course, is forming Persia. But that's very close, actually. His reforms are almost there. Looking good in Qara Qoyunlu, especially because you have those mountains. It's very unfavorable to be attacked here. Like, it's unfavorable for anyone to attack you. Oh, he's making a spy network in Poland, so maybe we are seeing him expanding here. It's just such a weird key to me. And I'm not sure if I can't say I like this, honestly. It looks awful. Yeah, we'll see about it. We'll see about it. I don't really know what he's going at, what his plan is with everything he's doing here. Okay, let's go over to Timurids, I think. Trying to move a bit more quick than we have in the previous episodes. Okay, yeah, so obviously Timurids is losing in a war against Punjab here. So it's minus 2% war score in the overall war, and it's minus 60 against Timurids itself. We're seeing a big battle right now in Punjab's land. But everyone seems to be very far away from this, surprisingly. Like, we have this huge battle, actually. Let me deactivate the fog of war for this, so we see who's coming into this. Why isn't Vijay moving up there to help? Also, Khmer's moving away. Is this some thing I just don't understand. Like, they've defeated one stack from Bengal, and Khmer is moving away from this battle. About equal quality, I'd say. Timurids is nowhere near to joining the battle here. Can't quite tell who's winning. I'd say, like, just from the numbers. I mean, it's what's coming in. Okay, more troops are actually coming in for Punjab and Mewar, who probably have the better troops. So I think this could be a win for Punjab and Mewar, if I'm not mistaken, if Khmer doesn't decide to join. But if Khmer decides to join, I guess we're also going to see Vijay joining the battle, which actually might be looking at this stack and thinking, why don't we just kill those 12k Khmeri troops? It's a weird sight to me. I don't really understand much of what I'm seeing in this war. Everyone seems to be walking away from the big battles. Actually, I just noticed Timurids is at -3 stability. So I suppose he's going to be out with the next stab it. Question is, okay, we can check that when we are on Punjab, what the stab it could be. But I think we're going to see him losing control of the mountains, which is not good for Timurids, because that opens up a lot of land if you don't have your mountains anymore. Oh, actually, Timurids can still stab up if he wants to. Yeah, my bad. It's just very expensive. I don't know if he actually would want to do that. Also drifting quite far into bankruptcy territory now. Yeah, I'm not so sure about this Timurid thing. Like, if he's planning to stay in the war, actually do something, right? I mean, you can't cross here right now, but... yeah, I mean, try to do something, I guess, because just sitting around and eating the loans doesn't make sense to me. Low crown land, as you'd expect from this. Yeah, I mean, lots of rebels coming up. He'll have a problem with that, I think, because his manpower is going downhill. Disaster's also looming. Will he be able to stop this? He needs to have unrest lower than... I mean, most of it is coming from war exhaustion and negative stability. He can step up right now. Yeah, I mean, he could forcefully stop it by just paying everything off. So maybe that's something he wants to do. What are ideas looking like? Okay, hasn't finished his ideas yet, so he doesn't get a discipline at the end. I think he already fired his missions in another war he fought. Yeah, it's not great for Timurids. He really needed to win against Punjab to form Mughals here. I think he'll be on the back foot if they end up losing this war. Actually, speaking of Punjab, I think we can just hop down here and see what they are doing. So, Punjab, they're fighting this battle, which I still can't tell who's winning. For me, it seems like we're gonna see Punjab winning here. Oh, actually, this is way more troops than I thought it was, because there's also Mewari troops in this stack. Actually, I think I saw that when I was on Timurids, didn't I? Yeah, it's 44k. Okay. My bad. But obviously Punjab has very good military ideas, and he's playing them out, having finished his idea group. He's Hindu again, so he's not Sikh anymore, which he had to be to form Punjab. Yeah, I mean, this is looking good. He could be winning. Like, he has half his land siege down, but I think his economy is still looking okay-ish. Oh, actually, it did take a beating. He has 19 loans and can only go up to 27, so he needs to reconquer some land to slow down the debt spiral he's in. At least his allies appear to be doing a bit better in this war. Interestingly, he could become Defender of Faith, which... Oh, actually, it doesn't give you any military boni at this level. Okay, fair enough. Don't need to get to Defender of Faith. Yeah, but Punjab seems... I mean, it just comes down to this war. I can't say much more than win your war, I guess. And let's see how his ally is contributing to this in Mewar. Okay, Mewar has some manpower left. He's also in loans. He has 19 and can go up to 76. So actually, what I said with Punjab is wrong. He doesn't need to reconquer his land to slow down the decline. He needs to reconquer his land to have more loans available again. my bad. He just needs to take all the loans he can. And it's only 27, it's too low. So they need to reconquer his land. And for that, winning this battle would be very important. Because then you can... Like, these forts have a lot of control, if I see this right. If you manage to siege down, like, what could be a reasonable push. Like, if you push down out Khmer from here and then maybe took Girt and Agra back, that would be so much land that you could suddenly take back for Punjab. So even small victories could be very big in this war. I mean, it's not a small battle here, but it would be a smaller thing to happen to win one battle, and it could have a huge impact on this because all this land could fall back to Punjab. I mean, there are a few hill forts, but you can bypass them and just go straight into the wealthy lands of Bengal. I don't think, no, these forts aren't stopping here. You can go here, here, and then just hit the heartland of Bengal, which might be something you want to do. Especially if Timurids is out, you probably have good shots at killing Bengal here. Beating Bengal, that is, not necessarily killing him. Especially because that's something you want to do before he becomes Nepal at some point. I mean, he does own Nepal, but he isn't Nepali yet. Yeah, so Mewar itself has much to gain from this war, I think. He lost land to Timurids previously, I believe. Looking at this, they have claims here. And they have a core here. I think this used to be Mewari, might be wrong. But that's definitely something you would want. Actually, Punjab is the war leader, right? So we should probably jump back there real quickly and see what separate pieces could be done. I can't send the diplomat right now. Okay, fair enough. Can't check. Mewar, back to Mewar. Yeah, I mean, he could take the new tech, I guess, and I don't see many reasons not to at the moment. It means new troops and tactics. Why wouldn't you take that? I think you want Tech 12 here. So, I mean, we looked at loans, that was looking okay-ish for him. What does his buildings look like? Yeah, buildings are fine here. It's just that this war's dragging all of them down, so it's a bit hard to tell what things are like beneath the surface for these nations. Okay, last one that's fighting in this big war on this side is the Vijay. I mean, they do have the advantage, of course, in this war that they are linked up. Having this access through India, they can help each other while Timurids and Bengal have to fight on their own. That's a big advantage to have, especially because you already pushed over the Timis mountains, so you can just very effectively hold them back now. And I hope they will do that. And I mean, Timurids isn't even trying to get back to Punjab, so I guess this plan appears to be working out, at least to me. Vijay itself, he is not close to Tech 12, and he's also not close to finishing his ideas again. He's missing 5% discipline for this and mercenary manpower. Okay, that's not too big. Yeah, I mean, technically, he's going into some debt, but I expect him, yeah, he can take way more than what he currently has, so economically, I think Vijay is doing best out of the bunch of nations we've looked at recently. Okay, yeah, it's actually not only 5% discipline he's missing out through ideas, he's missing out on 15% discipline. Because this is 5, and the edict is 5, the policy is 5. So you could have 15% more discipline if your ideas were finished. And yeah, that really shows. You only have 102. But again, if you finish your ideas, your military suddenly gets 15% discipline better, which is a very huge leap by finishing one idea group. But I think Vijay is rightfully helping these guys here. He has a good claim to getting some land from Bengal through this. And that's something Vijay definitely wants to do. Also, he wants to recover this land that he lost previously. And then, I mean, we're going to look at a very interesting India here. If they end up gobbling this up. This weird Timurid exclave could be gone. That would be very interesting to see. Actually, what's the war goal? It's Rotasgar. That's... where is that? It's the Bengali conquest of Rotasgar. I can't type. Oh, it's the Punjabi conquest of Rajasthan. That makes so much more sense. So much more sense. Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe... I guess it makes sense to attack Bengal before he forms Nepal. Fair enough. Yeah, so it's a war that Punjab started and you're missing the war goal and still having 2%. Okay, that's fine then. I thought it was a war that Bengal started. If it's this way, I think it's fine. I can see Punjab winning, especially if we just hop over to Bengal now. That's not the Bengal tech. Let's see how they are doing with this. Okay, so... Okay, ideas aren't finished here, but he's not missing out on as much discipline. I mean, still a sizable amount of discipline. Also, the artillery damage from back row isn't bad. It gets more important every tech. Yeah, ideas-wise, he's also not at 12. Maybe that's why Mewar isn't taking 12, but I mean, still would be an advantage to have tech 12. He's doing better on the Crown Land front. Let's look at money. Oh, yeah, he's not in debt. Yeah, that could be what it comes down to with these nations. Although, I mean, Timurids will be out soon, so it's just going to be Khmer and Bengal coming from this side. It could go both ways, really. Can't really make a call already. Still chances to be had for both sides to win this conflict. Other than that, Bengal obviously being Muslim. Don't quite know how they compare to Hindu in multiplayer meta right now, but good enough religion to have. Sunni. Not as good as Shia, in my opinion. It's fine, and I think he's also doing fine in his army quality compared to the other guys. Actually, looking at this is probably Vijay's discipline. That's not Punjab's discipline. I don't know if any... Okay, Punjabi troops are in there. Yeah, I mean, I think the quality is actually better for Punjab here. That's something I maybe misinterpreted when I was looking at the battle a while ago. Someone who would have good ideas, though, I think, would be Khmer. Last participant we have to look at in this war. Okay, his ideas also aren't finished, but he went... okay, no, he didn't went quality first. He went quantity first, but he did get discipline from his national ideas. He has morale from his national ideas. That should put him at... Oh, he doesn't have a discipline advisor. I guess, but I would get a discipline advisor. Other than that, though, like, Bengal isn't too affected by this war, really. He's paying a shit ton of money on advisors and doing well with it. Also, he's a great power. It's actually very impressive for Khmer. Yeah, it's very big, actually. Khmer is bigger than Timurids. I think he might be someone that people would underestimate. Also good forts to defend himself, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's jungles and mountains here. I mean, Khmer is actually kind of sizable. Stronger than I expect him to be. Okay, it's kind of surprising. Can I enact a government reform? Yeah, okay, that's that one. I don't want to make any comments on what he should do because I have no idea. Yeah, and more good buildings to build with the money he has. Also no worries of being beaten by anyone right now. So very good looking for Khmer. He can take the rest of Pasai. He can take Brunei with his province here. So more land to take and dev up, I assume. Like he probably devved a bit to get where he is. Improved 6 times. Okay, so no crazy amounts of development that we have seen here. This could also have been Malaya 13 times. Okay, yeah, looking good. Malacca obviously being a very good trade node. Good looking Khmer. Okay, last Indian nation here would be Tibet. Which the other Indian, I can't really tell. Yeah, okay, so obviously Tibet isn't making a lot of money, and he's spending a lot of money. Not much on advisors, but, well, that's to be expected. He's paying his army right now, which is quite expensive, but I guess he's getting rebels. He did win a war against Manchu last session. I think he had help from someone with that. Like, I assume he would. To take, like, he has quite good land now because of this, and also he's a bit bigger than you would expect him with all this shitty land that he has, like all the little mountains. Tibet also has good national ideas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, morale of armies and discipline. You can take that a long way. Sadly, he is Vajrayana, which frankly isn't a great religion. He does get 5% discipline from his actually kind of decent 10% fire damage received down and discipline. Just getting that karma into balance is a bit hard, but I mean, if that's, you don't have much to do with Tibet, so I guess you can balance your karma. And you could propagate religion through trade. That would be interesting, but would be also a bit weird to just not take your trade. Oh, also loans, yeah. That's probably from that Manchu conflict he was in. But other than that, I think Tibet is looking pretty fine if he can keep expanding. Yeah, his economy, a few more investments into that would be good. Getting a few more buildings. I hope this is nothing that Bengal needs to form. Nepal probably isn't. Yeah, I think it's looking decent. Looking very decent for Tibet. If he has chances of going against Manchu again with his allies, I don't see any problems for him. Speaking of which, we can go over to Manchu. Okay, decent tech. Lacking behind in ideas. That's something you'd kind of expect from a Manchu. And he's losing money. What is he losing money to? These advisors are very expensive for level 2s. Oh, the inflation and over-governing capacity. Okay, well that's not great for you. Inflation is ticking down somewhat, but it's still pretty bad. Okay, it can take... Wait, what? I didn't know that Hungary had these mechanics. And also he doesn't own any of the holy sites. Actually, he has one holy site. That's up here. Where would he have to go to? Where are his holy sites? One is in Kazan, in Rin. Where's that? Oh, I think that's here, right? Yeah. Beloyarsky. That's something that Russia just colonized. Yeah, Crimea. It's kind of far away, so I don't really see him going this far east. Turkestan could be something. Yeah, this is something you probably would want to pick up if you are out of your truce. Actually, you are out of your truce. So maybe a war against Kazan could be interesting. Other than that, I mean, it's not looking great, I'd say, for Manchu, but it's obviously also kind of fine. He can take the Emperor of China if he wants to. Right now, that's Yu. Who's Yu? Is that Yu? No, that's Wu. Oh, no, it's Wu. I misread that. Okay, so he can just take the Emperor of China whenever he wants and form Qing. Although being the Emperor of China is probably something that he doesn't necessarily want to be. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, calling this guy Emperor is a bit weird, but okay. I just need to stop clicking on this button to hear this weird sound. Yeah, I don't really know what to tell Manchu. Like, that's one of the nations I don't know the mechanics of too well. Fight people in flatlands, I guess. That can help. And over to Japan from there. Yeah, so Japan has been doing a bit weirdly. Actually, he can become Catholic. Okay, I can get a Catholic ruler. I don't really know what that would do for him. Okay, some stuff going on there. What are his ideas looking like? Actually, that's something I should look at for Manchu really quickly. Yeah, I looked at that for Manchu right at the beginning. Okay, well, ideas aren't great for Japan, but also he still has time to isolate himself from other guys. He's in debt. Is it much debt? Oh, shit. 55 loans. I hope he's bankruptcy building, but I think he is, but he's losing 20 ducats a month. And he can take 10 more loans of 200. So that leaves him at 2,000 ducats that he can take. So 100 months left to go, right? That's 10 years until bankruptcy. 10 years until bankruptcy. These are taking 3, so okay, works out. Kind of works out right now. But don't lose money to anything else, I guess. Also, yeah, I mean, has still some stuff left in the bank, so I think actually keeping those farm estates could be working out. I mean, try your best with this bankruptcy build. Try not to lose it again. That would be very unpleasant of you just doing the bankruptcy for no reason by losing all the buildings again. Actually, is it 5 years to keep the buildings or 10? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, well, that's something he needs to find out. He probably also knows because, I mean, it looks like he has a plan with what he's doing. Okay, well, you do have a trader that could possibly do something. You could, like, collect in Beijing, I guess. Doesn't really go, nothing really goes to Nippon, I guess. There's a Polynesian trade node. Well, there you go, that's something I didn't know. Is that new? When did the Polynesian trade node get added? Huh. I could swear the trade used to go right over to Asia previously, but apparently now there's a Polynesian trade node. And it appears to have trade centers. Huh. Curious. Okay. I guess we'll accept that. Is the new patch? I need to look some things up here. Okay. Yeah. Things are looking good for Japan altogether, I'd say. Don't see much wrong with what he's doing. Just needs to maybe stay at peace, try helping Manchu a bit less, and then go your way. You should have pretty good troops, but you need to finish your ideas to really play them out. Okay, last Asian nation is Madyas. And it's looking okay, I think. He's making a lot of money. Yeah, and he's in this war against Mutapa that we had in the first part. Going for quantity right now. I won't look into the war with Mutapa again, so if you want to see something about that, go look at the Mutapa part. Oh, he would have... Actually, I don't know if there's something he would want to do. I mean, he does have Sumatra, right? This is Sumatra. No, it's Java. Is Java one of the things you can have? No, it's not the Malay Peninsula. I think this is Sumatra, right? Yeah, so it's not something he could be doing. Okay, fair enough. Like, he could get Brunei temporarily, I guess, but he can't get this land, I'm pretty sure. So no Malay for Madyas. Yeah, could build more buildings. He has the money to do so. But also, I'd expect him to be colonizing quite a bit. Yeah, he's currently going 2 ways here. Like, one over to the Polynesia region and one over to Africa. I mean, it's looking good. It's looking okay. Not much wrong with what this Madyas is doing. Interesting to have wars in Africa. But again, if you want to see something about the war, go over to the Mutapa part. We did cover it there. And now let's just quickly go through all the natives. Last time we didn't look at them because not much happened. But this time I guess they sunset invaded, so I can't really ignore them anymore. Inca is still probably one of the more peaceful natives we have on the map. He's currently Shinto. Okay, why did I expect to not be surprised by what I would see? Okay, he is Shinto. We'll just let it stand as it is. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Inca is looking good. He's making all the monies. He's colonizing what exactly? He's colonizing this. So it's not... I don't know if this is hostile against Andalusia. Can't really tell. But I guess time will. An Aztec province, yeah, that's a bit interesting. Is that to get Aztec around to this side? Or... Could be, but why don't you just take this? I don't know. Well, he'll have his reasons, I guess. But it seems good enough what Inca's doing here. Let's go over to Yucatan. Okay, so he can't... I don't know why he can't form Maya. Oh, it's something I have to look into. He's still Nahuatl, which obviously isn't that bad of a religion. I'm really not sure if I have some weird mod enabled or something. Like, I never play in this region. But also this is... Do I have some weird mod enabled? I need to check. This is so weird. Like, it's confusing me to death. I just really don't understand what's going on here. Okay, yeah, Yucatan. That's looking good. I mean, also some temples built, deities, not something he really has. Oh yeah, he spent a lot of money for the war in Castile, I'd assume. Well, Castile is now that, so I guess that worked out. Interesting that you wouldn't go bankrupt, like you're very safe to do so. Quick look over at Aztecs. He's the main villain of this campaign doing his sunset invasion. So, well, that's looking good. Having a lot of these nice pajama warriors here. But also lots and lots of depth. He has 38 loans, can take up to 109 of them though. So, not that big of a deal. His interest isn't insurmountable right now. He's just spending a lot of money on his army at the moment. But that's not something you couldn't get over. Yeah, I think it's still fine. The next one will be Iroquois. Iroquois is also in depth, but not as much. Don't know how he got into this. I don't know if he joined the war in Europe. He's a bit smaller than the other one. I think he fought a big war against England in the 13 colonies region, which he now has firmly under his control. And also looking good. What are ideas like in the New World at the moment? Yeah, not too many. But again, it's the New World. Aztec obviously being the one that's trying to overthrow Europe has the most. And last nation for this campaign is Blackfoot. And Blackfoot is doing okay in his ideas. He just doesn't have the tech to take any more of them. And yeah, and it's doing okay-ish, but I think he's getting... like he's falling behind a bit behind the other natives. Okay, then thanks for watching. This will be it for this episode of Edmund's Developments, and we'll see us again next week. Thanks.